Hello, it's Malcolm here, and in my final overview for NetLogo, I'm going to show you a little NetLogo program that I wrote myself, and in it I'm actually modelling the way a bushfire burns. And that seems a little bit strange to be doing with NetLogo, but when you realise how NetLogo works and how mathematics works, you'll see that it's a really good fit. So in this you can see that I've set up some buttons and some sliders just as we did with our other overviews, but in this case we're making use of the fact that the background on which the turtles move can also be manipulated. So in here, when I press setup, it colours a whole lot of squares green and a random number of brown. So the brown squares represent places where there are no trees, and the green ones represent where there are trees. And I've got here as a input the tree density. So 85% of the screen here is clear. Sorry, 85% contain trees, 15% doesn't hold trees. If I went back, say, to 50%, somewhere down there, you can see there's far more cleared area than there was before. So let's go up to, I don't know, something like 85 might be good for this stage. So there it is, I've got 85% tree coverage. Now in my little simulation here, the red one tree catches a light in the middle of the forest, and there's a probability that the trees to the north, south, east or west catch a light, and the probability is 0.65. So that could relate to the fact that if we've had a drought, this probability would be really high. If we had a lot of rain, that probability might be low. And we can actually start doing things like if there's a wind blowing, there's a higher probability on the right than on the left, and we could start putting that in, but I haven't for the moment. And so what I do is I start the thing burning. It has a look for the squares around the first thing, and with probability 0.65 the tree next to it will catch a light, and of course if there's no tree there it won't. So let's do a burn. Here we go, start burning, and there's my simulation. There's the fire front. The fire fronts are actually turtles, and as you can see a fair bit of the forest is burnt, but a fair bit isn't. Let's do another one. And so there's a different fire going through, and so forth, and that's fun. And then we can play around to try and get an idea, okay, how sensitive is this model to the tree density? So let's put the tree density down, say, to 75% and go. And as you can see, the fire's nowhere near as severe in this case. Not that that's surprising, but there we go, we can get an idea. Let's put the probability up, so just say we're in a really big drought. And there we go, the fire spreads around again. And to have a look at the code sitting behind the screen, there's a lot of code sitting in, and that looks difficult, but to create this simulation any other way would be way, way, way harder than using NetLogo. So yes, there's a fair bit to learn, but there's also a lot of fun to be had with this. And once again, if you were using this regularly over 7, 8, 10 years, you really do get to understand it and to know it. So there we go, there's my bushfire simulation in NetLogo.